We have a Skype presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us by Skype is Judith Browne Dianis, the Executive Director of the Advancement Project, a multiracial civil rights organization founded in 1999. Ms. Dianis has an extensive background in civil rights litigation, advocacy in the areas of voting, education, housing, and employment. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Congressman Cummings, and to the Platform Committee. My name is Judith Browne Dianis, and I'm Executive Director of the National Racial Justice Organization Advancement Project. We exist to fulfill America's promise for a more just democracy. Today, I'd like to outline attacks on democracy. The struggle to secure the right to vote remains a persistent challenge. Over the course of the last several years, we've witnessed the continued erosion and undermining of the right to vote. Since the founding of this country, the struggle for the right to vote has been inextricably linked to race. Even when gains were made, communities of color faced intense backlash because the right to vote confers power. While the Voting Rights Act of 1965 increased political participation for African Americans and Latinos, politicians intent on maintaining power have consistently worked to erect barriers to the ballot box for communities of color. Take voter ID, for example. As many as 11% of Americans, more than 21 million individuals, do not have government-issued photo ID. 25% of African Americans, voting age citizens, or 5.5 million African Americans, do not have current government photo ID, compared to 8% of white voting age citizens. 16% of Latino voting age citizens, or about 3 million Latinos, do not have it. In Pennsylvania, where Advancement Project successfully challenged voter ID in court, GOP officials admitted that their motive was not about voter fraud, it was about winning an election at the expense of the right to vote. One of the most pernicious barriers to voting is the stripping of voting rights of persons with felony convictions. These post-Reconstruction era laws continue to have a devastating effect on Black communities, ravaged by the failed war on drugs and mass incarceration. Whole neighborhoods are stripped of political voice as a result. Nearly 5.8 million American citizens are blocked from participating in elections by these laws. That includes over 2.5 million people who are no longer incarcerated. An estimated 2.2 million African Americans are disenfranchised. In states with these laws, it's estimated that as many as 40% of Black men may be permanently stripped of their right to vote. Further, in 2016, we will mark the first presidential elections in 50 years without the full protections of the Voting Rights Act. Since the decision in Shelby County versus Holder, 73% of covered jurisdictions passed restrictive laws. Our democracy is under attack in ways that imperil voters of color. It is imperative that the DNC platform include a commitment to reinstate the preclearance provisions of the Voting Rights Act. Further, the DNC must support efforts like those underway in Florida and in Virginia to end felony disenfranchisement schemes that silence communities ravaged by an unjust criminal justice system and aggressively fight proposals that make it harder to vote, like unnecessary voter ID laws. Finally, we need a constitutional amendment for a right to vote. Most Americans find it hard to believe that the U.S. Constitution and our Bill of Rights do not explicitly affirm nor guarantee the right to vote. Tomorrow is Juneteenth, a day to commemorate emancipation. The time has come to undo the compromise our founders made to protect slavery and enshrine the right to vote in our Constitution. An amendment will protect voters over politicians by mandating compelling reasons for voting restrictions, and it will give voters confidence by establishing national standards for administration of elections. Right now, we have an assortment of inconsistent practices across more than 13,000 local voting jurisdictions. The right to vote should be tied to national citizenship, not to state citizenship. I applaud the DNC's Executive Committee for its past resolution supporting a right to vote amendment and urge this body to include it in the 2016 platform. As you can see by my remarks, we clearly have much to do, and I would like to submit further written comments for the record. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.